Okay, so I bought the G303 Shroud edition. I think I paid like $160 for this, and it's mainly because I live in the UK and we have to pay things in pounds. But so far I have a couple impressions about it. I've been using it for a week, maybe a week and a half. I'm not too sure, to be honest. I kind of forgot. But basically, this is my first encounter with the G303 shape. I did not have the original G303, sadly. Although that had a lot of issues, and I didn't really want to pay that much money just because of the Shroud hype, and ends up I did pay a lot of money for the fucking Shroud hype, because honestly, this mouse is really good, just not worth $160 or 130 if you're a US chum. But yeah, basically I have no idea why they even like made this expensive in the UK. But I bought it just for scientific purposes, so I can give you guys my opinion, and you can maybe pull the trigger or not. So yeah, I'm gonna make a lot of comparisons to the GPX Superlight, which I feel like is gonna be the competitor of this mouse, like head to head. Woo, they're fighting. So first of all, the thing that I want to talk about is the weight. So coming from the Superlight, the 75 grams of the G303 is very, 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 very heavy. At first, I didn't think it would be that big of a leap, but for some reason, I just felt like, every time I lifted the mouse, now don't call me fucking weak or anything, it's not because of that, but every time I lifted the mouse, it just felt awkwardly heavier than everything I was used to. With something that's small, like the MP01S, this is still a heavy mouse. It's like, what, 70 grams or something? It didn't feel as heavy as the G303 Shroud edition. And so yeah, that's like a complaint that I had. But the thing about Shroud is, now when you look at what type of a mouse that Shroud likes, and if you haven't seen the clip already where he tries the GPX, he doesn't really like very, very light mice. So I kind of do get why this mouse is like 75 grams. I did shave off 2 to 3 grams by just ripping the fucking dongle off. I mean, there's like this dongle thing behind, and I can't really see it, like that, and it goes through there. And you could just rip it off. I mean, it doesn't really cause any harm. But that's like a couple grams off, and that's made it a tad bit better. But weight balancing wise, I mean, it's still pretty much like perfect. And yeah, so let's get into the shape, which is, in my opinion, like the most important thing when it comes to a mouse. The shape is really weird. Okay, if you come from the G303, I don't think, like, from what I've read online, you're probably not going to be, very used to the shape regardless, because it's just bigger and wider. But the shape, coming from someone who has used, very safe mice in his whole mouse career, I don't know what to say to that, but basically, it's really, really weird. The shape is not bad at all. When you force your hand into a certain grip, like I'm doing, it's for a very aggressive claw, in my opinion. But when you force your hand for a very aggressive grip, it works quite well. It's kind of like weird how well it works, but I guess this is like the perfect claw mouse. But yeah, it's a medium. I'm not gonna say it's a small shape. It's a medium shape. I guess it's, when you look at the GPX, it's around the same length. The GPX feels like a potato in my hand, though, and it's because of how, like, the back is structured. It's a lot wider in the back. But however, this mouse doesn't really have that same back because of the diamond shape. Now, what this means is that you have a lot more wiggle room with your palm. And I really like that. When I claw grip, I like to just, wiggle the mouse around with my fingers like a tad bit, just so I can, like, move it back in my hand when I need to do those small corrections. But with the GPX, when I do that, it just, I have to kind of like shift my hand to the back and then do it. Just not the same experience. So yeah, basically that is, all I have to say about the shape. It's not very safe. They did make a not safe shape a bit safer by making it wider, and they also smoothed out the very, very rough edges of the G303, the diamond shape. It's more like the G305 right now, in my opinion. It's a lot smoother in a way. But yeah, basically that. So let's talk about other things. So the clicks are actually very nice. I was reading on Reddit, it was like bitching about, oh yeah, they use fucking Omron 20Ms again. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, right? Those people are schizophrenic. It doesn't fucking matter. So yeah, basically these clicks are very nice. They're well tensioned. However, when I use these clicks, I noticed how deteriorated my GPX clicks were. So yeah, the GPX clicks are no longer, you know, as crisp as they used to be. But yeah, basically that. So that's all for the clicks. I guess I'll just give you a little sound test, huh? All right, yeah, that's how they sound. Scroll wheel, it's I like the scroll wheel, you know, there's nothing really wrong with it. The side buttons are also quite nice. I think they're well positioned, you know, when you're gonna be claw gripping like this, they're literally where you want them to be. So yeah, great side buttons. Sensor, it's the Hero sensor, you know, perfect sensor, great for wireless. And speaking of wireless, this mouse, first of all, Logitech wireless has no delay, so if you're in between like a wired or a wired mouse, it really doesn't matter. The wireless mice are as good as the wired ones. But since this mouse is actually heavier than the GPX, they just went fucking overboard with the battery, like 140 hours of battery life, which is insane. Like the GPX, I would just forget to charge it. And I would be like, okay, when is this thing gonna die? When do I need to charge this? And it turns out it's like almost never. You know, it's a great mouse, insane battery. This insaner battery, it's even longer. It's kind of, you know, it's crazy how much battery they put in this thing. To be honest, I would take like 100 hours and a couple grams off, but you know, that's just my personal preference. And if Shroud says that, you know, 75 grams is how it should be, then 75 grams it is. Do I aim like Shroud? I gotta think of that. So I don't know, like, I definitely like this mouse when I, you know, force it into a grip that I can use. But other than that, like, when I start to, like, go back into a more relaxed, like a relaxed claw, like right now, right? The edges just kind of cut in, and I don't like when that happens. So I definitely aim well with this mouse. That's actually about it, to be honest. Like, you know, it does feel weird in my hand, but I do aim well with this mouse. Now, talking about the USB-C, wow, that's kind of insane. They added USB-C. I know, they bitched and moaned about this so fucking much, but the thing is, I don't even get to use the USB-C because this mouse never dies. Yeah, awesome. The PTFE feet, they're very thin, in my opinion. They're fine. You know, there was a time back then, the good old days, where you had to just instantly buy third-party mouse skates because they were just so fucking bad. But that isn't the deal. That isn't the deal anymore. I mean, the GPX has you know, custom feet, but the G303, the mouse feet that it comes with is perfectly fine in my opinion. Just maybe a little thin, but you know, it's gonna do its job for 95% of the population, and the remaining 5%, like me and you, we're gonna go out and, you know, pay $10 for core pads anyways. Doesn't matter. It's literally routine. You buy a mouse, you buy core pads for it. I mean, come on, we're all in the fucking mouse community. But yeah, the feet are fine. Overall, this is a very, very solid mouse. It's way too expensive in my opinion. $160, especially what I paid for, like $130. I mean, that's still on the more expensive side, but $160, it's like that's reaching like what the fuck levels, you know. When the GPX exists, I mean, I saw the GPX for like what, $100 on Black Friday. I mean, come on, like $100 for this mouse it's a steal. It's a really, really good mouse. The wireless is awesome. You know, it's gonna fit everyone. It's a very solid mouse. But $130 for this, I mean, there has to be some sort of Shroud tax or something. I don't know where, you know, all the money goes to. It's literally just a bit of like a wider G303, and they slapped on the Hero sensor. But yeah, I would definitely like a wireless, a lower weight version of this mouse. And yeah, so the design of the mouse, I mean, it has the Logitech X Shroud shit on it. I mean, it looks cool in my opinion. It's small. It doesn't bother me. And thank God they didn't add this shitty fucking logo. I mean, look at that. Imagine if that was on the if that was on the mouse. That would be awful. That would be dreadful. But yeah, basically, solid mouse. I would give it around like 8 out of 10. Yeah, 8 out of 10. It's definitely not for everyone though. So if you're gonna go around, buying this mouse, I wouldn't. You kind of have to like know what you're getting. If you're gonna palm this, I don't recommend buying this mouse. If you're gonna fingertip it, I mean, still a bit better, but really, the only like grip style that I recommend for this would just be like an extremely aggressive claw grip, like I'm doing right here. So yeah, that's basically about it. Oh, and also there is RGB on this mouse. It's like, wow, amazing RGB. But you see that? Look at that. Awesome. It indicates the DPI. But yeah, basically, thanks for watching. This mouse is good, just a bit too expensive. I mean, if you can get this for cheaper, I would rather just have the GPX. But since I'm a mouth enthusiast, I can justify just spending the money on this. If you're not, probably don't buy it. But yeah, thanks for watching.